Welcome to Sightseeing Japan, the podcast where we explore the land of the underworld. I'm Demon Paul, and I'm Jason Healing. Welcome to Hell, motherfuckers!
What an intro, man. I'm pumped. Yeah. It's almost Halloween. We're going to talk about spooky stuff. Life is good.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
This time of the year. Leaves are changing.
You know, I took your advice, Jason.
What advice?
I watched Kaiju number 8.
Oh, yeah? What'd you think?
Dude, it's awesome.
Did you watch both seasons?
I have like 2 episodes left in the second season.
Okay, I haven't. E and I are waiting for season 2 to end before we binge it. But first season, pretty great, right?
So good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is season 2 just as good?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, before we get into today, do we want to mention the meetup again?
We could. I feel like it's out there, but we could just keep relentlessly pumping it.
I just want to mention it. Just who knows how people have different ways of listening. Sometimes they jump around all these different episodes. I just want to make sure that they have enough chances.
You got that little voice in the back of your head. No one's gonna show up.
No, I didn't have that voice in my head.
Okay.
Somebody will always show up.
Anyways, we're doing a meetup in Sapporo this year. That's to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. It's going to be at 6 p.m. on February 7th. And our plan is we're going to meet on this street corner. There's right underneath this famous Nika whiskey sign in Susukino, which is kind of the nightlife district of Sapporo. We're going to meet up there. We can check out the festival, which is happening right there. And then we can go check out a bar or a karaoke room or something. But the meeting spot is right under that sign, 6 p.m., February 7th, 2026.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. We're going to Japan in 2026. It seems so soon. I'm not used to going that early in the year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see snow in Japan. Never seen that before.
The weather there is going to be like the same as the weather here, but I'm actually going to have fun. So it still feels like I'm going to miss like almost a month of the worst part of winter.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I figured out what I'm going to do about my footwear, too.
Oh?
I was thinking about like just bringing winter boots and wearing those for the whole trip, but that seems like overkill for the cities that aren't snowy and uncomfortable, too.
Yeah.
I got these waterproof like mid-height hiking boots that I think are going to be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bringing hiking boots. I'm still not sure if I'm bringing shoes or not. Like, I don't know if I want to wear my hiking boots all day, every day for 20 days straight.
I'm going to break in these hiking boots, but, my first impression is that they're going to be comfy enough that it won't be a problem wearing them for the whole trip. That's my hope.
Okay. Yeah,
anyway.
Be a pain to have to carry another pair of shoes around.
Yeah, totally. And I need my whole empty suitcase so I can bring back souvenirs. Can't fill up space with shoes. Unless, I guess I could bring a pair of shoes, like an old pair of shoes.
Yeah, bring your beater shoes and throw them away at the end. Yeah.
I have done that before.
Oh, okay.
That works. That's a good idea.
I'm just thinking, like, we're going to be, like, hiking out in the wilderness, but then we're also going to, like, be in Tokyo and cities, and it's like, it's probably not going to be snowing in Tokyo. Do I want to wear my boots around everywhere?
Right.
We'll see. We'll figure it out.
We will see. Maybe this isn't good podcasting, talking about shoe wear for a trip that nobody else is.
I don't know. Our planning episodes are pretty popular, and we talk about what do you pack? What do you bring?
True. That's not what this episode is.
But we're here to talk about hell today.
Yeah. We are. We're talking about hell. And Japan has a lot of different ideas about what hell might be like. Before we get to specifics, I did want to talk briefly about Japan's religions, just to kind of give you some context.
Ah, yes, Jason. Please explain religion to us.
I will do my best.
I mean, brief overview of Japan's 2 major religions.
I'm not an expert on Japanese religions, but Japan has 2 main religions, Shinto and Buddhism. They've melded in a lot of ways over the centuries, and each one, of course, has their own different ideas about the afterlife. So Shinto is Japan's native religion. goes back to before recorded history. It's an animistic religion, meaning that it's based on the idea that all things have souls or spirits in them. So it's not just humans with souls. Rocks and waterfalls and mountains have souls, animals have souls, etc. Everything's kind of built on that framework. Buddhism, on the other hand, came to Japan from China in the 6th century, originally from India, via China, of course. And it is a religion based around the Buddha and the pursuit of enlightenment. There's also a reincarnation aspect there that we'll talk a little bit. That kind of works into the hell stuff. So that's a quick primer. You don't really need to know the details of each one to understand or enjoy this episode, I think.
I feel like maybe one other interesting thing to me is that in Shinto, there's not really a lot of like moral guidance. But in Buddhism, there is morals and ideals that you strive for in your life.
And that definitely comes through in their ideas of the afterlife.
Yeah.
Also want to point out that as in any religion, there's not a ton of consistency in these ideas. Different parts of Japan might have had different ideas about what hell is like. And of course, these ideas morphed over the centuries. Religious texts can be interpreted in different ways. So it's not like there's a single immutable idea of what hell is like in either of these religions, or in any religion, really. But we're just going to share some interesting stuff we found in our research.
Yes.
And I also want to point out that things might get a little bit graphic, or a lot of bit graphic.
They will. They will.
Yeah. There's some pretty messed up stuff in here, so listener discretion is advised. And now that I said that, we can say whatever the hell we want, Paul.
Oh, all right. I can finally swear. All right.
Okay, Paul, we're starting with the Shinto hell, which is called
Yomi.
That's right. And patrons might recognize this because I talked about a video game called Trek to Yomi in one of our Patreon exclusive episodes.
Now that I know more about Yomi, that game makes more sense.
Yeah.
So Yomi doesn't seem to be like a huge part of everyday Shinto belief, but it is what they have for their afterlife. It's not a place where you go for punishment. Everybody goes to Yomi after you die. It's just the place of the land of the dead.
It reminded me of Hades in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
It's just a place where everybody goes after they die, and it's not a judgment sort of thing. It's just where you go when you die. I mean, it's kind of a misnomer to even call it hell, right? It's more just a land of the dead.
Yeah.
So in Shinto, when you die, your spirit, which is called a mitama, it's separated from your physical form, and that spirit goes to Yomi. To dig a little bit deeper on Shinto ideology, Yomi is the land of the dead. There are two other realms. Ashihara no Nakatsukuni is the earthly world where we live. And then there's a heavenly place called Takamahara. But it's not heaven in the sense that like you go there if you're good. It's just where the gods live, basically, and where they were born. And once you die and go eat at the hearth of Yomi, that's pretty much it. You can't come back. There's no like traveling between these worlds. Once you're in Yomi, you're stuck there. But you might remember from past episodes that spirits of your ancestors can sometimes come back to visit in Japan, right? For example, Obon. Or, your ancestors can hang around and watch over you. They can also become kami. So how does that work, Paul?
Well, I think one part of it, at least, is that Yomi geographically kind of is similar to the world we live in. So where your ancestor dies or where they're buried is kind of where their spirit dwells. So they're still near you if you live in your ancestral home.
I think another reason goes back to how I said Buddhism and Shinto are kind of melded a lot in Japan. So Obon is a Buddhist holiday, not a Shinto holiday, so that explains that. I also kind of saw this idea, this helped me reconcile things a little bit, where those mitama, the souls in Yomi, can kind of poke through to our world temporarily if they're strong enough. But just in general, Shinto, it doesn't really concern itself too much with the afterlife. Like they have this idea, but it's not really a focus of Shinto, the way that hell is kind of a big focus of Christianity, for example.
Sure.
Like ideas of Yomi and Shinto are kind of vague anyway. And unlike in Buddhism, Shinto doesn't have a concept of reincarnation, like I said. So Shinto is more focused on the here and now, how to live life. They're not so concerned with what happens after you die.
Did you come across the Japanese saying with that you live Shinto, marry Christian, and die Buddhist?
Yeah.
Where like big ceremonies throughout life are Shinto. Christian weddings have become really popular in Japan. And then funeral services tend to be Buddhist. And a lot of the ideas of hell tend to lean Buddhist.
Yeah, if you want to hear more about like how funerals work and like what happens to your physical body after you die, we did an episode about funerals and cemeteries. That might actually be helpful for, I don't know, it's not a prerequisite for understanding this episode or anything, but I feel like they kind of go well together. Like they both kind of answer each other's questions a little bit.
Yeah, definitely some synergy there.
Yeah. So what is Yomi like? Like I said, the ideas in Shinto are vague. It's not a focus, but what do we know about Yomi?
The main ideas seem to be that it's kind of just like a gloomy, dull place. You know,
Maybe
not
black and
bright, shadowy. Yeah, like the game was all black and white, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where I feel like it was kind of a good representation where it's definitely not torture or punishment or reward. It's just kind of like a continued glumish existence.
Glumish?
Glumish, I just made that up. I guess
like
glumish. You know, it just is. You just exist. And it's not really good or bad.
Yeah.
I saw one place where it was saying like the closest thing to torture is just being separated from your loved ones after you die.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, Yomi is considered to be an actual physical location. It's not some ethereal, otherworldly realm or something. It's actually, like, it's not a separate plane of existence. It's supposed to be actually under our world, like a literal underworld.
Yeah.
So does Yomi have a ruler, Paul? Is there somebody that's kind of looking over this place, making sure everything's going smoothly?
Yeah, the ruler is Izanami no Mikoto.
According to the Kojiki, which we've mentioned before, that historical/mythological text from the 8th century, the entrance to Yomi is in Izumo province, which is the eastern part of Shimane prefecture, and the entrance was sealed with a giant boulder by Izanagi when he fled from Yomi. Paul, you said Izanami.
Yes.
This is Izanagi that sealed it. What's up with that?
Well, they were husband and wife deities.
Were they also brother and sister, though?
Probably. I don't know. I'm assuming yes, because you asked me that.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff about this whole story, because it seemed like kind of the most interesting part about Yomi, I thought.
Yeah. I do want to note, just to give an idea of how important they are, these are the gods that created the islands of Japan.
Right.
Do you want to tell the story?
I would love to.
Please.
So not only are Izanami and her brother husband, Izanagi, creators of Japan, they also created life and death.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you might think that they're the first gods. Like when I hear creator gods, it's like, well, they're the first ones, right? What is there before creation?
But who created them, Jason?
Well, there were actually 6 other generations of gods before them. They were created by the 6th generation. They're the 7th.
Oh, lucky number 7.
The 7th and final generation, actually, of these original gods who existed before mankind. There's a whole other story about all those other generations. Like I said, the brother, husband, sister, wife thing, don't think too hard about that. I don't think that it's really supposed to be about incest. I think it's more that in this age of the gods before humanity came around, it's like each generation, there was either one god or it was like a pair of gods who were kind of like each other's counterparts. It's almost like 2 halves of a whole.
Yeah.
Like a male and a female, but they're kind of one thing split into 2, if that makes sense.
I mean, even going back to how I was raised, I always thought about, you think about Adam and Eve, and then it's like, well, don't think about how their children procreated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the story goes, those first gods created the female Izanami and the male Izanagi and told them to create the first land. They gave them this heavenly spear, and they used the spear to create Japan. They went to this bridge. Who knows what this bridge was connecting, because there was no land yet.
The bridge to nowhere.
Yeah, but they stood on this bridge. They dipped the spear down into the sea, picked up some mud. Who knows where the mud came from, because there was no land.
The bottom of the sea.
I guess. The mud dripped down, became the islands of Japan. They also had a bunch of children who were also gods, but eventually Izanami died in childbirth. Very sad. But Izanagi, he wasn't just sad, he was also angry because he blamed the child for killing his sister wife.
Normally you'd say, whoa, that's completely inappropriate, but there's a little more to it, isn't there?
What's that?
This child was the fire god, and he burned her up while she gave birth, basically.
I mean, it's not the baby's fault, that it was fire.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm just trying to sympathize, think what he was thinking.
Sure. Well, anyway, Izanagi was so angry that he killed the newborn baby. So Izanami, she was buried on Mount Hiba, which was at the border of Izumo province, which is, as you'll recall, where the entrance to Yomi is. So Izanagi decided, you know what, I'm going to go to Yomi and find Izanami and bring her back. That's how much I miss her. And he did that. He managed to actually find her in this land of shadows, and he tried to bring her back, but she was like, dude, you know how it works. I already ate the food from Yomi, so I'm stuck here. I can't go anywhere. But, it's really sweet that you came. I mean, I guess I can go talk to the gods of this realm and ask them if maybe they'll let me go. I don't think they'll say yes, but I could try. And Izanagi is like, yeah, do that. Let's go ask, give it a try. So she told Izanagi not to look at her. I guess it was, it's the land of shadows. It was real dark. He couldn't see her. Did you see a reason for why she's like, don't look at me?
No.
Feels like that'd be hard to,
maybe just
hard sell,
Like the dark dullness. It's like, don't remember me like this. Remember me like I was in the bright, beautiful world.
Sure. Izanagi, the light down here isn't flattering. Just keep your eyes closed. I'll go talk to the gods. But he wanted to see her real bad. He missed her a ton. So he took his comb out of his hair. I don't know if he had an afro and it was he's keeping his pick in his hair or what.
He might have had his hair up in a bun or something.
Yeah, I'm just making a dumb joke. But he pulled a comb out of his hair. He lit it on fire for light. And what he saw shocked and appalled him. Right, Paul? Appalled him.
That was terrible, but I still kind of liked it.
When he finally saw Izanami, she wasn't nearly as pretty as she was when she was alive. She was a rotting corpse with maggots and stuff. It was disgusting. It totally reminds me of that scene from The Shining with the lady. She's all pretty and then all of a sudden her skin's hanging off and she's rotting.
I love how that's a surprise. Oh, she was less pretty after she died.
Well, he wasn't expecting it, apparently, because he freaked the frick out. He's like, I'm getting out of here. This is messed up. So he ran. But then Izanami is like, what, you don't like me anymore? So she started screaming and ran after him. All of this sounds like a horror movie to me. I imagine her just like this banshee, wailing and flying after him at some unnatural speed.
Yeah.
But Izanagi, he managed to escape Yomi, and he locked her in there. He rolled that boulder over the entrance and was like, you stay in there. You're gross. And so that's why there's a separation between Yomi and our world today. So he locked her in there. But there's more. Izanami, she was so pissed about this whole thing that she cursed the human race. She promised to kill 1,000 souls every day and bring them to Yomi. So Izanagi, in retaliation, he said, you know what? I'm going to make sure 1,500 people are born every day. So that's how they created life and death.
Okay.
Isn't that a good story?
And that's why the population has increased. What's happened in the last few years to throw off the math?
Yeah, Izanagi has been getting lazy, apparently. One more fun fact. After Izanagi saw the decomposing body of his sister wife, he performed harai, which is a ritual cleansing, which is apparently where the purification rituals at Shinto shrines come from.
Yeah.
Like when you walk up to a shrine in Japan, there's kind of this purification fountain sort of thing, and you take some holy water, basically, and you cleanse your hands and your mouth. That's why they do that in Japan. And when Izanagi performed this ritual, he also gave birth to 3 other gods, Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo, who you might recognize, very famous gods.
Yeah, I mean, Amaterasu is probably the top god in the Shinto pantheon. She is the
top one? I don't know if you can.
Well, she is who the emperors of Japan are said to be descended from.
That's true, yes. And the sun goddess, I mean, that's a pretty important
the sun
one.
is important, right?
Yeah. So that's Yomi.
Wow.
That's all I found, really. There's not a ton out there about Yomi, but there is a whole lot about the Buddhist hell.
Yes, there is.
Ready to talk about Jigoku, the Buddhist hell?
Yes, I am.
Jigoku is the Buddhist hell, and it is very much a place for punishment. It's got demons, it's got fire, it's got pain, all the classics.
Yeah, Jigoku is subdivided into many different hells. Some people even say tens of thousands of different sub-hells or sub-planes.
I saw as many as 64,000.
Yeah, I think Buddhism is where you get these ideas of like planes of existence, which I knew from Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't know that came from Buddhism originally.
Cool.
And each hell has its own unique punishments and the lengths of stay. And the lengths of stay are wild. I love them. That's one of my favorite parts of this.
Yeah. So I want to address the reincarnation thing for a second.
Sure.
As I mentioned before, Buddhism has a reincarnation aspect. Hell is for those, I saw that like hell is for those who are not worthy of reincarnation, but you can also be reincarnated after hell, right?
After you serve your punishment, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So hell in Buddhist mythology is not forever. Christians will say that you burn forever, for all of eternity. Yeah. Buddhism is like, it might be almost eternity, but eventually you can come back. Once you burn off your negative karma, you can be reincarnated again.
It's much more about the cycles of life. You probably get reborn as like the lowliest microbe or insect or something, Yeah. And have to work your way back up.
Also want to point out, again, I guess I kind of alluded to this already, but different sects of Buddhism might have different ideas about how all this works, especially the different types of Buddhism around the world. It's practiced in all sorts of different countries. But
we mentioned earlier how it came from India via China, but it's been in Japan long enough that a lot of unique Japanese ideas have kind of permeated their specific versions of hell.
But even as we say that, it seemed to me like the main hells, anyway, that we're going to talk about are pretty consistent. Fairly consistent across different types of Buddhism.
Okay. I didn't really look into the other types.
Okay, so we've established that bad people go to Jigoku. I have some details on like how you get there.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you die and you were just the worst of the worst, like you're just super, super bad, you're just a bad person, you can go straight to Jigoku. No stops on the way, you just go straight there.
Yeah.
But most people aren't just super purely evil, right? Most people have done a mix of good and evil. So in that case, you might first go to a place called Meido, which is kind of a purgatory where you are judged. You have a chance. Well, you have several chances to avoid hell in Meido, right?
Yes.
So to get a little more detail, when you die, these 3 Oni show up. Oni are usually called demons in English. We actually did an episode where we talked at great length about Oni. That would be episode 62 if you want to hear more about them. So these 3 Oni, they take you on a 7-day trek to the Sanzu River. And this has come up in an episode too. It's located on Osorezan, which is known as Fear Mountain or Dread Mountain, which is a real place in Japan. We talked about it in episode 71.
One really interesting thing about this journey is that you have to climb a mountain that's made up of your own greed. So the more greedy you are, the higher a mountain you have to climb on your way to the Sanzu River.
How does greed manifest physically?
It's hell, Jason.
I mean, I mean, like, in what form does it take? Does it just look like a normal mountain? It's just like proportionate to your...
I don't know. All I saw was about the size. The size is proportional to your greed in life.
Okay, got it. Interesting that they pick out greed. Like, there's so many other vices.
Yeah, well, those get dealt with eventually, too. But if you stop or go too slow, the Oni beat you up.
Nice.
They keep you moving.
But eventually you get to the Sanzu River. There's a whole story about the river. I don't want to get sidetracked, but we talked about it a little bit on that Osorizan episode. But you cross the river, and that's how you get to Meido, that purgatory-like place. And once you're there, there are 7 trials you must pass. There's one every 7 days, and if you fail any of those 7, you're sent to Jigoku, which is hell. So actually, if you listen to our episodes about funerals and cemeteries, 53. Did I say 53 before?
Not sure.
It's episode 53. You might remember that the family of the deceased will hold Buddhist memorial services every 7 days after death. This is why.
Yes.
For 49 days.
You're not just getting judged on yourself. The prayers of your descendants or loved ones in life factor into these decisions as well.
Paul, I know I've been bringing up Assassin's Creed Shadows a lot lately, but just like 2 days ago, you know how I said there's like this little codex kind of thing that tells you all about like real Japanese history? This came up in there.
Oh, really?
Just a couple days ago. It talked all about the every 7 days, the trials, and all that stuff.
Cool.
Funny coincidence.
Nice.
But once you're in Jigoku, if you fail one of those trials and you end up in hell, there's still more trials that you can pass to get out of hell, right?
Yeah.
There's one 100 days after death, and then at 1 year, 3 years, 6 years, 12 years, and 32 years. You have so many chances.
Yep. But after that 32 years, I think that's it.
And I remember in that episode, we were talking about how like people would pay the temple to keep praying for you for a really long time. And we're like, why is that necessary? Well, this is why it's necessary.
Yeah. And you'll see once we get to these punishments how that would be a wise investment.
Yeah, for sure. 32 years is nothing compared to the pain and suffering that could be awaiting your dead relative.
But if you do fail all the trials, each of these levels of hell we're going to talk about does have a time period of suffering where you will eventually get out.
Yeah. It's going to feel like forever, though.
Yeah.
You'll see. You'll see. Okay, so Paul, you mentioned that even though hell, Jigoku, is a single place, it's subdivided into a bunch of Buddhist hells.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about the 8 great hells or main hells?
Yes, I do.
These are hot hells. Did you say they're hot and cold hells?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so the 8 main hells are all hot hells.
There are also 8 cold hells that I didn't see nearly as elaborate descriptions about them.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just focusing on the hot ones.
These are the juicy ones.
Yeah.
So the first one is Tokatsu Jigoku, which is the reviving hell.
And who goes here?
These are for people that have committed the sin of killing and have no remorse. And this isn't just humans. This can be bugs, mosquitoes, anything if you kill without remorse.
But it doesn't count if it's an accident. I mean, if it's an accident, presumably you would feel remorse, right?
Yeah. But this is
I don't know.
why...
I mean, if I were to accidentally kill a mosquito, I wouldn't feel remorse. But according to what I saw, I still wouldn't go to this hell if it was an accident.
Okay.
But I also saw that if you're a doctor and you accidentally kill your patient, that's not a problem, which I think makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But this other one surprised me. If you're trying to correct your child's bad behavior and accidentally kill them, That's fine.
Oh, okay.
That's not a problem. It was an accident. It's not your fault.
Well, familial piety is really important, right?
It makes me wonder how often people accidentally killed their kids
Right.
back in the day.
It's the kids' fault for not respecting the parents the way they should have. They committed the sin of not respecting their parents. I saw there's just like these other random things where if you were too eager to fight in your life, you might end up here. Or if you died in a rebellion or a mutiny, you could end up here. So a lot of this, like, don't rebel against power type of stay in your place idea.
And that makes sense because Buddhism, like a lot of religions, has been used to control people and make them bend to authority figures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just since I mentioned that, I just want to expand.
I just want to go on a 45-minute rant about religions.
No, just in case somebody that's not aware is thinking that I'm like just attacking religion for no reason. I'm referring to a very real thing in both Japan and China where they built like these huge hierarchies of temples specifically to exert governmental power through religion to control the population. Like, this isn't a theory or some personal grudge or anything. Like, this is history.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. So I guess we should talk about what it's like here.
Yeah.
The ground is scorching hot, and the poor souls stuck here have to fight each other with iron claws.
Where did they get these iron claws? Why does everybody have iron claws?
I don't know. It's hell, Jason. It doesn't need to make sense.
Are these like those claws where you're like holding on to this thing and then the claws kind of come out from between your fingers? Or are they like built into your body? That's what I want to know.
I was picturing like the ones you hold. Okay. But who knows, right? They're iron, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But after you get slashed up enough that you die, you just come right back to life again and start fighting again.
That's going to be a common theme in a lot of these hells, is that once you die, you just come back to suffer through it all over again and again and again and again.
Yeah. There's also some Oni roaming around that might just decide to smash you into a pulp with their clubs, just because why not?
Yep, they're kanabo, big iron clubs. I also noticed there's a lot of iron. Yeah. Like, I guess that was just the dominant metal that people were using when these ideas came about.
Right, a lot of this stuff like strikes me as just people sitting around and being like, "Oh, what would be the worst way to hurt people?"
Totally,
you know?
Totally.
Don't worry, Jason. If you're sent here, your sentence is only 1.6 trillion years.
Well, I thought it was 500 years.
The years or time is different in our realm versus this realm.
Oh, that's right. Apparently, one day in Jigoku is equal to 500 years in the realm of the four heavenly kings, and each day there is equal to 50 years on Earth. So that's how the math works out to 1.67 trillion human years.
That's a while.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And that was the first one.
They just get worse from here.
What's the next level, Jason?
The next one is called Kokujo Jigoku, the hell of black rope or black threads. And this is supposed to be 10 times worse than the last one.
I think all of them are kind of keep that pattern, right?
10 times worse than the previous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And as we know, when you're talking about exponential growth, things get big fast.
Yeah.
So this level is for people who have killed and also stolen. This is something that I thought was a little confusing when I started reading this. It's like they say it's people that killed and stole. So what happens to people that only stole? You know what I mean? Like each of these levels, it feels like they're adding on.
I think that's where the tens of thousands of like subplanes maybe come in.
That makes sense.
These are like the 8 great hells for the worst of the worst.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So this one is apparently where you go if you intentionally swatted a mosquito and also shoplifted a candy bar. Right?
Yep.
So this is where Oni, those demons, they mark lines across your body with black thread or rope, and then they'll use those lines as guides to chop you into pieces with axes and saws, which I assume are made of iron.
Yeah.
There's another idea. I don't know if it's sequential, like that happens first and then this other thing happens, but supposedly there's this giant cauldron or maybe a pan with a tightrope stretched across the top of it. And you're forced to carry hot iron, it's always iron, across the tightrope until you fall into the cauldron or pan, where you are then boiled and hacked to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you're brought back to life. I think there's supposed to be a cold wind that blows through to bring you back to life.
Yeah.
So that sounds pretty miserable, huh?
Yep.
And a lifetime here is 1,000 years. But wait a minute. A day here is equal to 1,000 years in the realm of Toriten. And one day there is 100 human years. So if you do the math on that, we're talking about 13.3 trillion human years.
Mm-hmm. I love how our solar system's like 4.5 billion years old. You're going to be sentenced to hell for 13 trillion years. When was like the Big Bang even supposedly? Was that even 13 trillion years ago? Probably not.
Well, now you got me thinking, like, what if you serve your sentence and you're about to be reincarnated and then you find out, wait a minute, the universe is done. Like, there's no life anymore.
I mean, our sun's going to be gone in 13 trillion years for sure.
Isn't there a theoretical, death of the universe where everything just stands still? There's no more.
Yes, but they keep coming up with new discoveries with these advanced telescopes and stuff, and I feel like they're less sure about how the universe is expanding and contracting and stuff, where we don't quite know yet.
The heat death of the universe is old news?
Yeah, that might not be the current thought anymore.
Cool. Well, that's optimistic.
Yeah.
Well, what do we got next, Paul?
Next up is Shugo Jigoku, the crushing hell.
Is it 10 times worse than the last one?
Oh, you know it is. And this is for those who have killed, stolen, and also committed the sin of lewdness.
Oh, man.
Which has many different things you can do, I think, to get that.
All those VTubers, aren't they always saying lewd things?
They are. They're all going to hell.
I saw their special punishments for those who have an improper attitude toward love and sex. I guess that's what they mean by lewdness.
Okay. I mean, in this one, I saw there's some main punishment, but then there's some specific punishments based upon what your lewd deeds were.
Yep.
So the main things are you get crushed between mountains of iron again until you're a bloody gelatinous pool of flesh and blood, and then you're revived. Another punishment I thought was really creative, I guess.
The trees?
Yeah, the trees. You want to talk about the trees, dude?
Sure. So apparently this part of hell has got a bunch of trees. Who knows where they came from? The rest of it is all fire, pretty much. But here they have trees. But the thing about the trees is that the leaves are razor sharp. So you might think, well, I'll just stay away from the trees, obviously. But from the tops of these trees are sexy ladies and dudes calling to you, and they're like the sexiest, like they're irresistible. So you might be tempted to climb the trees. But if you climb the trees, you get all cut up from the leaves. And then when you get to the top, the sexy person appears at the bottom, and you got to climb back down to get to them. And as you're doing all this climbing up and down, and your blood and guts are pouring out of you, there are Oni standing at the bottom of the tree to catch your innards as they fall and eat them.
Yeah. And then pound you into mush.
Yeah.
So some of the specific punishment is fillators. That's not a word I say very often. Have their tongues stretched out and nailed to their ears, which doesn't seem as bad as some of these other things, honestly.
I know, this seems like such a prudish place. Like, what's so wrong with fellatio? How?
I'm gonna get to this in a sec. Can I get these other two out of the way
absolutely.
first? So another one is if you're a pedophile, you have molten copper pumped into your anus until it pours out of your mouth. And nobody's going to complain about that. But here's the controversy for sure. If you're homosexual, you are forced to embrace your burning lover and be torn into pieces, more or less.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too far on a tangent about religion, but this did get me thinking about one of the main issues I see with like religions is that you get stuck in this dogma of a time. Like once it gets put into scripture that like, oh, it's bad to be homosexual. Like, how do you change that when it's like written into the base of your religion? So you can't evolve with the times, which is a problem, I think.
Yeah, but also, do you think that homophobes in Japan quote Buddhist scripture to, I mean, I don't even know if this is written into scripture, but like, do you think they use this to justify their hate the way that homophobic Americans quote the Bible?
Yes.
I think, you really think so?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Because
if I was a butthole homophobe, I would.
Perhaps, I guess. I mean, they'll grasp onto any justification they possibly can for their homophobia,
I don't think it's
right?
quite to the level of like Christianity's problem.
Well, what I was getting at is that my understanding is in Japan, generally, people aren't necessarily like wholehearted believers in all this stuff.
True.
Like a lot of the religious stuff that happens in Japan, you know, people going to temples and shrines, it's more of a cultural practice than a religious practice. Where in the U.S., you know, there are obviously a lot of vocal, extremely religious people that take it extremely seriously. And I don't know.
But there's a decent chunk of people in Japan that are practicing Buddhists who probably do try to derive some of their moral guidance from scriptures and Buddhist ideals.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, you can't compare it apples to other religions in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
I didn't do all the math like you did, but I got the final number. The punishment here lasts 106 trillion years.
About 106 and a half. I did do the math.
I guess I'm rounding here on our trillions of years.
Yeah. Do you want the details? I have it for all of them, but I don't know how.
I don't know. It's getting a little too much, I think, with some of these.
Okay, that's fine. We can skip over that.
All right, what we got next, Jason?
Next one is Kyokan Jigoku, the Screaming Hell. Guess how many times worse than the last one this is, Paul?
20.
I thought you had it.
Oh, no. Do I get another chance?
Nope. It's 10.
Oh.
Yeah, should have known. So this one is for people that did all those other bad things from the other hells, but they were also alcoholics.
I love how that's like the thing. Like, you killed somebody, you stole, you raped or whatever. Oh, but you also drank too much.
Yeah. To be clear, moderate alcohol consumption is totally fine.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you drink so much that it impedes the proper practice of morality.
Sure. I think that kind of leads into Buddhist thought a little bit. They seem to be a little bit more of like the temperance, meditation, trying to find yourself.
Sure. Yeah. I saw that there are subsidiary hells if you use alcohol in certain ways. Like if you use alcohol to try to seduce someone, or you use it to try to kill or rob others.
Oh.
Or, I love this one, if you sell watered down alcohol. Watered down liquor. Like,
you know what? Those people do deserve to burn into hell.
Yeah, you remember that one bar?
I will never forget that comedy show we went to, bro, and they gave us the water-ass whiskey and charged us like $12.
I know.
I will never forget that.
I know. That's exactly what came to my mind, too.
Yep.
They do deserve
I've
to be
been holding that grudge for a long time, dude.
Yep. Or if you give alcohol to a monk to try to irritate him. That's what I saw. I don't know why that would irritate a monk. Like, maybe the monks don't drink. Yeah. And then you're just like, here, you want some alcohol? You want some alcohol? Like, I guess that would be irritating.
Them, it looks too good,
Sure. So what happens here?
You get thrown into a boiling pot or locked into an iron roaster and slow roasted by an oni over a fire.
Okay.
Roasted like a pig.
I saw that if you committed a crime while drunk, molten iron gets poured down your throat.
More
iron.
Yeah. Well, that's another bone I got to pick. People that do dumb stuff when they're drunk And then I was drunk.
Like it's an excuse.
Yeah, that gets to me, man. I've been drunk a lot of times, and I've never gone out and done awful things.
I know. Yeah,
So I feel like people use that as an excuse.
I don't get why people. It's like people are saying that when I drink, I'm a completely different person. Like, no, you're still you. It just releases your inhibitions. That means that what you do while you're drunk,
a terrible person.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like I've never done anything.
I get
out
drunk
of character.
I get drunk and hug my friends.
Yeah,
and throw up and pass out on the floor. Like I don't understand this. Do terrible things. When you're
that's
drunk.
Because it just takes you to the extreme. You're a nice person with a weak stomach, so you hug people and puke a lot.
I've never heard myself described so well. So in 2 sentences.
Well, we have known each other for a long time.
I guess since this is a flagged, explicit episode, we can say what we want, right?
Sure.
I was always the first one puking at every party, wasn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. But sometimes I'd come back for more. Get it out of the system.
I don't know, Paul.
But I had a good time.
You know I love you, but if there were one thing that I could change about you, it would be that you could handle more alcohol so we could drink more together.
Okay. I'm mildly offended that you want to change something about me, but I'm also happy that that's what you want to change. Like, okay, sure. That's actually not offensive at all.
I just think about all the debauchery that we missed out on because you were puking your guts out into the toilet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I missed.
You hear those stories about people getting drunk and just ending up in a different city with no idea how they got there and stuff. That could have been us.
Yeah. I just end up over a bucket in the backyard.
Yeah.
Those days are long
or
past
passed
me
out in the hallway with people stepping over you.
It's okay. It's probably good for my kidneys anyways.
Yeah, I suppose. I had one more thing that happens in this hell. There's a lot of screaming. That's why it's called the screaming hell.
Yeah.
But the screaming just annoys the Oni. So they fire arrows at the screamers or just bash them with their clubs until they stop screaming. But then, of course, if they stop screaming, it's because they're dead and then they're brought back to life and they go through all that again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That one's a little underwhelming to me, honestly. The boiled in giant pots, locked in iron chambers and roasted. It's not as creative as it could be.
I'm with you. All of these say like 10 times worse. So you were talking earlier about like the power of tens or whatever. Like by the time you get to the 8th one, it should be like a gazillion times worse than the first one. And it's like, it doesn't really sound that much worse than the first one, you know?
Right.
Maybe there's some supernatural way where like your pain is amplified or something.
Sure. I guess.
We'll go with that. It's hell. You can do whatever you want, right?
The time span figures into it too, right?
True, yeah.
Because this one, if you do the math, it's a grand total of over 852 trillion years here.
And trillion is such an insane number. Like it's mind-boggling how much a trillion is. I think I saw that if you made like $10,000 a day from like the beginning of humanity or something, you would like just be becoming a billionaire now. And a billion is like 1,000th of a trillion. It's like you can't even understand.
Yeah, a trillion, for anyone that's not aware, it's 1,000 billion. And due to the research for this episode, I learned what comes after a trillion. But we'll save that, right? We don't want to spoil it.
It's coming up soon, I think.
So what comes after the hell of screaming, Paul?
Daikyokan Jigoku. The Great Screaming Hell.
Wow.
This is for those who have committed all of the above sins and are liars.
Oh, liars. Like Paul here.
Can you help me out, Jason? Did you look? Does white lying count as a lie?
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't be Buddhist. That's it. I can't be. I'm a white lie believer.
I got to change what I said. I said that I would change, your weak stomach. I changed my mind.
Paul
Lying
will never
is way
lie
worse.
to me again.
Paul lies constantly, you guys. Except on the podcast, all the facts that he speaks, those are fact-checked and 100% true. But as soon as I hit the, stop recording button, Paul just starts spouting all sorts of lies. You wouldn't believe what comes out of his mouth. He's worse than Trump.
That's whoa, bro.
Too far?
Too far. Part of that's right, though. Every time I say something that like Jason doesn't have in his notes, I shouldn't say every time, but sometimes when I say something Jason doesn't have in his notes and he's skeptical, he pauses the recording, pulls out his phone, and he's like, let me double check that. I don't know if that's true, Paul.
Or I look it up while I'm editing, and maybe like 90% of the time, Paul just made that up and it's totally wrong.
I thought you were saying 90% of the time I was right.
No, you're wrong a lot.
No way, no.
Yep. Whenever you say something that's not in my notes, it's pretty much always wrong.
Just because you couldn't find my source doesn't mean it's not true.
If you found one source on the entire internet, it's probably not true anyway.
I usually find 2 sources for everything. This episode's actually an exception because it's like fun, whatever. I just picked like the most gruesome stuff I found anywhere and went with it.
I did cross-reference a bunch of places, and it is extremely consistent. That's why I said, like, I think
Jason,
this stuff...
I'm incapable of lying anymore. Your Crocs look stupid. Your glasses haven't been updated in 10 years. Your shirt's actually really cool, though.
You're just being hurtful now, Paul.
None of that was true. I was just hoping that you would say, you know what? I like you better when you lie, Paul.
See? Paul lies constantly.
Right. All of those things I just said couldn't possibly all be true, so at least some of them are lies, but we'll never know.
Paul's always muddying the waters. It's just never clear what's real and what's not.
We're at that point where we're such good friends that I like really enjoy pushing your buttons. Gives me great joy in life.
I don't have buttons.
Sorry, we're getting so sidetracked here. What were we talking about?
Liars.
The great screaming liars, you're right.
Yeah.
So what the punishment for these liars...
Well, Paul, what would happen if you went to this hell is they would stab an iron nail through your tongue and they would stretch it out until it's torn out of your stupid lying face. But then your tongue would grow back. And guess what? It would happen again and again and again and again, just like you deserve.
For how long?
Oh, it's okay, Paul. Don't worry. It's only 6.8 quadrillion human years.
We're in quadrillions now. This is great. Yeah. This is great. I've committed a lot of these sins. I haven't extensively researched it. I'm not sure if I've committed any of the lewdness. Like, I don't really steal either, but I can't say that I've, like, never, like, grabbed a chip from somebody here. Like, where's the level of stealing? I'm not into stealing, like, I don't shoplift. I've never done that. But, like, I've probably, like, snuck a piece of candy from a friend, or whatever.
How many times have you stolen from me? Let me think here.
Have I?
I don't know. I'm just trying to make you sound like a horrible person now.
Let's talk about your sins, Jason.
I'm not a sinner.
I don't believe in religion, but I'm also not a sinner.
Well, you can't be a sinner if sin doesn't exist.
Hey, then I'm not a sinner either. All right, problem solved.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
All right, what's next?
I think we're on Jonetsu Jigoku. The Burning Hell.
Ooh, this one sounds good.
Sounds like there's already been a lot of burning, but this one really amps it up, I guess.
I mean, these are the 8 hot hells.
This one is for people who, in addition to all the other stuff, hold beliefs contrary to Buddhist ideologies.
Typical religion. Like,
yeah.
It's worse to not believe in our religion than it is to do all these terrible things to people.
I know. I always thought of Buddhism as like one of those more innocuous religions where it's like, oh, they don't try as hard to spread their beliefs everywhere and feels kind of less cultish, if I may. So this kind of surprised me. So in the Burning Hell, people are beaten with red-hot iron clubs. They're skewered from their mouth to their anus and roasted over a sea of fire like a human yakitori.
That's a great description.
Thanks, I came up with that myself. I don't know, that's another one that seems like it could be a little more creative,
Yeah.
Just kind of basic. And how long is a stay here, Paul?
54.5 quadrillion years.
But if the burning hell wasn't enough, there's also a great burning hell. Dai Jonetsu Jigoku.
This is for people who have committed all those other sins, but they've also committed physical crimes against Buddhist clergy.
So if you beat up a monk or raped a nun, this is where you go.
Yep. The screams here are so loud that they can be heard from 24,000 miles away.
Besides that, it's basically the same as the last hell, the normal burning hell. It's just way, way hotter. And Paul, this is my favorite. It's probably what you were just about to say, right? You go ahead. You do it.
The suffering here is so terrible that those that will be sentenced here begin to suffer 3 days before they actually die.
Yeah, you're basically tortured for 3 days and then you die, right? Which I don't really get how that's worse because all the other ones, as soon as you die, you're brought back to go through it again. So what does it matter if you're...
Because you lose 3 days of life to torture.
But all the other ones, you're basically tortured for the whole time anyway. Like, I don't get why that's
but you get to live your whole life, then you're tortured. You
what?
Get to... This one, you start being tortured before you actually even die, which is worse.
Hold on. No, I thought that you... Because, I mean, we talk about people dying in these hells. Like, you get to hell, and then you go through this thing, and then you die, and then you're brought back.
Yes.
But you're already in hell.
Yeah. This one, I think, in, like, Earth, you start suffering.
That is not how I understood it.
That's how I interpreted it.
I guess that would make more sense, because otherwise it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah, otherwise it doesn't mean anything.
But okay. Well, but that wasn't actually what I was thinking you were going to say.
Oh, okay.
What I saw is that the suffering here... You know how we said all the other hells, it's like each one is 10 times worse than the one before it?
Yeah.
This one isn't 10 times worse than the one before it.
Oh?
It's 10 times worse than all of the previous hells combined.
Okay. I don't even know what the math is on that.
Yeah. And I also love how long you stay here.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
So a stay here, they call it 1/2 Antarakalpa, which is so big it can't even be described in mathematical terms. Numbers just gave up at this point.
It's basically infinity, but not quite.
It's like half infinity.
How can infinity even be half, though?
That's a good question, Paul. I actually can answer that because in college, freshman year, I took a seminar called, it was like the concept of infinity or something. And they talked about that. There is a concept of half of infinity. Because, like, imagine all the integers, right?
I can't because there's infinite of them.
Okay, but try. Just try to imagine all the integers. And now imagine only the even integers. How many are there?
It's still infinite, right?
Right, but it's also half of the other infinity, which is all integers.
Okay.
Really interesting class.
Breaking my brain.
I know. I don't think I did very well in that class because I was just like, this is all nonsense.
Yeah.
But that's just dipping our toes in there.
Okay.
Anyway, what's the next one? We're the last one, aren't we?
We're on the last one. Mugen Jigoku, the hell of uninterrupted suffering. This hell is so deep that it takes 2,000 years of falling at terminal velocity to reach. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff about this one. They got this one right, I think. This is creative.
Yeah. This is reserved for the worst of the worst, murderers of their own parents, or murderers of saints, or people who have betrayed every single Buddhist ideal.
Oh my gosh, that's so awful.
You checked them all off the list.
Yeah.
What's the punishment here, Jason?
Well, souls here have an infinite hunger and thirst. They're so hungry that they eat their own flesh, and they're so thirsty that they DM every girl who posts a bikini pic on Instagram.
Okay.
Oh, wait, sorry. Wrong kind of thirsty. They actually drink their own blood.
Can you imagine just DMing someone on Instagram?
No, I don't understand those people at all.
Those people end up here.
Yeah. But, Okay, I love this. They say this hell is so bad, it can't even be described in words. And if it ever were described in words, the writer and the readers would both die from the horror.
Now, that's the creativity I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This one delivered.
Totally. And how long are you here?
This is the one and only hell where those who are sent here never, ever come back. This is eternity.
Or it's one full Antara Kalpa, which is double the last one,
So
which was
double
already
infinity,
undescribable.
which is infinity.
Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, this could be double infinity, sure. Well, the last one can't be infinity, right? Although it can't be
Why
described in mathematical terms, so I don't. Yeah.
Right, but
Well, but these ideas are old, right? Maybe they just didn't have numbers big enough at that point, but maybe now they do.
okay.
I don't know. Or maybe there's a theoretical number that they just didn't have
I'm
a
not
way to write down.
sure what comes after quadrillion.
Yeah, me either.
That's okay. All right, so now you know what hell you're going to, and you know what your punishment's going to be and how long you're there. So let's talk a little bit more. How about who rules over hell?
Oh, that's Enma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jigoku is ruled by King Enma. He also rules Meido, that purgatory-like place. So remember we talked about those 7 trials? He judges you on one of those trials? Actually, I don't remember if does he judge you on one of the ones in Meido, or does he judge one of the ones after you're already in Jigoku? I don't remember. I didn't write that down.
It seemed a little unclear to me.
All right. Well, there are a bunch of other kings who preside over the other trials.
And or bodhisattvas or gods or something.
But apparently Enma is the head judge.
Yes.
He's kind of above all of them. And I thought this was cool. He keeps a scroll where he writes down each person's good and evil deeds, just like Santa.
Okay. I like that analogy. He has 2 disembodied heads that assist him and sit on pillars on either side of him.
Awesome.
There's a female head that has the power of perceiving the sinner's most secret faults. And there's a male head that can detect any misdeed. So you cannot escape judgment from these people, no matter how secretive you've been in your life.
Wow. I'm curious if you came across this, Paul. This was my favorite part about Enma. Supposedly, the way that you see Enma in Jigoku is not his true form.
Oh?
You hear about this?
No.
Enma's true form, get this, Paul, Jizo.
No way.
Jizo, the protector of children and travelers, super popular bodhisattva we've talked about so many times before. Supposedly that is Enma.
Okay. I did not know that. That's surprising.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is like an obscure thing,
Sure.
It's kind of on the fringes or something, but...
Because Jizo's come up a ton of times, and I don't ever remember it being like, oh, and he's the Lord of Hell.
Right. I also saw, like, it was said in different ways. They're kind of weird. Like, some people said that Jizo is a manifestation of Enma, or Enma is the infernal counterpart of Jizo, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I also saw, like, it sort of makes sense because sometimes Enma is depicted as, like, this big, scary, angry guy, but sometimes he's also shown as compassionate. And the fact that there are all these trials, all these chances to avoid hell and kind of redeem yourself, it's like he actually wants to help people avoid hell. Like, it's not like he's trying to drag people down to hell.
No.
He's just the judge, and it's like, oh, you broke the rules, I got to send you down there.
Yeah.
But, like, you get so many chances, it's like he actually wants to help you.
Yeah.
And that makes sense with the Jizo thing.
Yeah, he didn't seem like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, getting a little bit back to reality here, there's some places you can actually go in Japan that symbolize hell or maybe kind of cross over between the realms, you could say.
Yeah, so you should go to hell. Go to Japan, go to hell.
How many times have we got to say that today? Go to hell.
I don't think I've ever actually said that to somebody, but it's kind of a satisfying thing to say, Go to hell.
Yeah, I should bring that back into my vocabulary.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so let's start with Yomi. If you wanted to go to Yomi, We already mentioned that Izumo province was where the entrance to Yomi is, and that is now Eastern Shimane Prefecture. So you could go there. And even though you can't get in, because of course there's that giant boulder that Izanagi blocked the entrance with, you can visit a stone monument in the town of Higashi Izumo. You can see that stone that supposedly seals the entrance, and you can visit the nearby Iya Shrine, which is dedicated to Izanami, the lord of Yomi. Lordess? What is it? What's a female lord?
I don't know. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another place you can check out is the Hells of Beppu, which are 7 hot springs that you can't bathe in.
Too hot for that.
Yeah, but you can view. I looked into these. It's kind of cool. You get all these very different hot springs.
Uh-huh.
You get the Sea Hell, which is kind of like emerald blue water. I don't know if
emeralds are green, aren't they, Paul?
Yeah.
Sapphire blue?
Sapphire blue. There we go. Gem. Some sort of gem blue. There's like a mud bubble hell, which is just a mud pit boiling. There's a white pond hell, which is milky white water. There's the cooking pot hell, which has a demon cook. I guess it's like an Oni chef. I think there's like a statue or something. I don't know. I totally understood. There's a monster mountain hell. And this one surprised me the most. They literally have crocodiles there. They just put a bunch of crocodiles in this pond and called it a monster hell.
I saw a picture of a crocodile. That makes sense.
Yeah. There's a blood pond hell, which has red water. And then there's the spout hell, which is a geyser that goes off every 30 to 40 minutes. So this is in Oita Prefecture in Kyushu that you could kind of tour around all of these places.
Yeah. Probably the most famous hells in Japan. I've heard a lot about the Hells of Beppu.
Could be, yeah.
Another place where you can visit hell, the Buddhist hell, is a place that we're going to visit on our upcoming trip.
Right.
Noboribetsu. This is up north in Hokkaido. It is home to Jigoku Dani, Hell Valley. It's got volcanic steam and sulfur, so it looks and smells pretty hellish. It's also, did you see this, Paul? It's one of the Japanese Ministry of the Environment's top 100 fragrant landscapes.
I did not see that.
Also, one of the top onsen resorts in Japan.
Yep. There's also some hell scrolls that you could see. I saw a couple famous ones. There is one in the Nara National Museum that is a scroll depicting 7 out of the 16 lesser hells. And the paintings are accompanied by a text that just says, "There is yet another hell," which is kind of ominous, I feel like.
I like it, yeah. There's another one at the Tokyo National Museum, too. I mean, there are examples at various museums. I'm sure there are more, but those are maybe the 2 most well-known ones.
Yeah, I think so.
But these hell scrolls, Jigoku Zoshi, they're called. A bunch of these were made towards the end of the Heian period in the 12th century. That was when these ideas were getting really popular. So that's why there are so many depictions of these hells from around that time. You can also look some up online if you want to take a look at some of those pictures. I mentioned earlier Osorezan.
Yeah.
Fear Mountain.
Yeah.
Dread Mountain. That's in Aomori Prefecture. And like I said, we did that whole episode about it, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's really cool looking. I really want to go. The
Very
bus to get there is only
Honshu.
Yeah, the bus to get there only runs at certain times a year.
It's kind of tough to get there without a car, yeah.
Yeah. But they have those, did they call them Itako?
The blind fortune tellers.
Yeah. Really interesting place. And it looks kind of hellish. It's got like the sulfur and the steam and all that stuff.
Yep.
Another thing that came to mind when we were researching this was our time in Edo Wonderland, Paul.
Yeah. They had a little hell exhibit, museum. Yeah. I don't know.
You kind of really small. Like,
walk through this building and it showed you people being tortured in hell.
Yeah. There's some Oni yelling at you and stuff.
It was pretty cool.
It was cool. I wouldn't recommend a visit just for that.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for hell, there are better places. But I would recommend a visit just because it's a cool place and there's a lot of other fun stuff there.
Yeah. I think I'm all held out, Jason. That's all I got.
Yeah, me too.
That's fun, though.
It was fun. I love thinking about blood and pain and fire and all that good stuff.
Hopefully you all got some nice creepy ideas there. You can enjoy your Halloween thinking about Buddhist hell and all the suffering.
Happy Halloween. Well, before we go, we should thank our Shogun level patrons: Kevin Harris, Michael Morris, Brady K, Jack, Pamela Arola, Kevin Phillips, Kelly Ardong, Yasmin, Georgette and Caitlin Seymour, and John W. Should also thank our Emperor, Eric. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
You know, Paul, lately on Spotify, I've been seeing a lot of comments.
Yeah, you can do that now on Spotify. That's really cool.
Yeah, so I want to encourage everyone out there, if you have some feedback you want to give us about any of our episodes, that's really easy to do on Spotify. I also, I've been looking at Spotify through the creator portal kind of thing, but I finally downloaded the actual Spotify app.
Yeah.
And saw what it looks like to listeners. It's cool how it has the transcript and you can just scroll down and see what other people thought about the episode and stuff.
Yeah, I really like Spotify.
Yeah. Oh, I also thought it was super cool that it automatically creates chapters.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It uses AI to kind of figure out what the episode is about, and then it separates it out into topics or subtopics.
They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. I listen on Spotify and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what we were talking about there.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't do that. But yeah, and of course, if you're on Apple Podcasts like I am, you can always scroll to the bottom and leave us a review there, or just click on a 5-star. I think that's the only option, really. You just click on the 5 stars. You can't pick less stars than that.
Is that how it's done?
Yeah. Well, Paul, what are we talking about next time? I don't even know.
Our next episode is on the city of Fukuoka.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, we always love the city episodes.
Yeah.
Fukuoka is, I think, a pretty popular city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really unique. There's a couple things about Fukuoka that are Fukuoka.
They are Fukuoka. I have been there briefly, but it was for a sumo tournament. That was my main thing that I did there.
Yep.
I did some other stuff, but I bet there's a bunch of stuff that I probably missed. So it'll be fun to talk about and learn about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for listening. See you next time.